How's it going, boys? So, if you're watching this, you're probably in my betting group. Now, if you're not in my betting group, I highly suggest you to join if you guys spare money to essentially gamble with. I like to say investing because I do believe this is somewhat of an investment. It's not completely gambling because it's a calculated. Everything here is analyzed, right? You're not going into this blind. You're not going into this going like betting money on roulette or blackjack. It's not exactly like that. Right? We're looking at sports, specifically eSports. So Dota eSports. Now I'm mainly focusing on Dota, and maybe in the future I'll do live bets, but currently it's like previous bets. So I will be analyzing the two games, and I will basically explain to you guys how I go through the process and whatnot. And all of these bets are calculated. It's not just random. So if I see like, oh, these guys have a pretty good chance of winning, I'll say bet on them. Or maybe I see the underdog. I'm like, oh, Gambit Esports here. The odds is 1 point. It's really low, 85% chance. But then I see like, oh, maybe this team, the odds are really fucking high, but potentially they could win. It's a high EV bet. So I might say bet on this team. So we're going to analyze previous games. We're going to see the players. We're going to see where they're playing at, all sorts of stuff, everything. And it's going to be put out here. Now in this video specifically, I want to talk about bankroll management. And yes, I believe this is the most important thing out of everything, guys. So what is bankroll management? Bankroll management is essentially allowing yourself to bet a certain amount every time without going broke. So how does this work? I have a sketch pad here, right? Oh yeah, by the way, if you guys want to join the betting group, check out the Discord, the main Discord. There will be a link to join the premium betting Discord. That one's a paid service. Currently is only $30 a month. So you're pretty much paying $1 a day. And let's say, if you bet on this game, and I tell you to bet on this game, I'm like, okay, bet like 1 unit or something, or 5 units. You bet $50, you win. You essentially made all your money back in the first day. Now you might be like, oh, I might lose. Yeah, that's exactly what a bankroll is for. So if you have a bankroll, it allows you to get some continuous losses and you're still okay, right? So there's some terminologies I'm gonna be using, right? So first of all, what is a bankroll? So let's say you start off with $100, right? Now this is all the money you have. You deposit in here, you deposit in the site. By the way, gg.bet is legit. I'm gonna be using gg.bet to post all my bets because it was one of the biggest esports betting sites. There's a lot of other ones. Make sure it's legal for your country and you're allowed to withdraw money and all of that. So far I know gg.bet works for most of the countries which have betting legalized. So use at your own risk, guys, for the other sites, by the way. There's also some promotions going on gg.bet, but I suggest that just sticking with the normal betting. Don't do the promotion is kind of funky, but you gotta read the terms and conditions yourself. I can't help you with that. So let's say you sign a registered account, you put your bets in, whatever. Oh yeah, also, by the way, when you withdraw, they need ID and stuff. Sometimes if you withdraw a large amount, so you gotta be careful with that. Try to not withdraw too much at one time. Anyways, I digress. But let's say you have $100. And when I say bet 1 unit size, it essentially means you're betting 1%. So 1 unit size of betting basically means 1%. In my case, okay, I will be using 1 unit size as 1%. Some people like to do 1 unit size as like 4%, 3%. I like to just keep it simple, 1%. So 1%, right? 1%. Why not just call it 1%? Because unit size, it varies sometimes. So 1 unit size. So this is according to your own bankroll. So you just do some calculations. So if you have $100, 1 unit size is $1, right? If this game, I say bet 1 unit size, you're betting $1 on this game. Generally, you don't want to have your unit this low. So let's say you have $1,000. You have a bit more spare money to bet with, to work with. You have 1,000. Now with 1,000, I say bet 1 unit size. You're betting $10 because that's 1%. And if it's like, let's say a very guaranteed game, This is never guaranteed, but like there's a high chance. Let's say I say Aster is gonna win, right? Or I say like, damn, eHome looks like they're definitely gonna destroy these guys. You know, for example. By the way, it's not always who's gonna win. There's also like fast wins, right? Fast wins, maps, right? You can bet on maps. I'm like, okay, so who's gonna get the first tower exactly? First tower to destroy. You know, shit like that. Now, some of these are just unpredictable, but the ones that I do can predict, it's like, oh, how many are they gonna play over 2.5 maps or under? You know, stuff like that. Like, oh, do I think it's gonna go to 3 games or 2 games? You know, stuff like that. But if I'm like for sure it's gonna go over, I'll be like bet 5%, buy 5 units, which is you're betting $50 essentially, right? You're betting 50. And I don't know what the fuck is going on with this, but something is not right here. Okay, this is not good. There we go. Well, that fucked up my video. Perfect. But yeah, so I'll be telling you guys how much to bet on. Now, this is a very important system. If you have a low bankroll, you're probably gonna have to go higher. So let's say if you only have $100, so normally I calculate my unit size as like $10. I also suggest to you how much you should bet on. So generally my unit size will always be in $1,000 because I feel like this is like the minimum you need to really start betting. Now let's say if you're betting with you know, $100, preferably you want to times 10. Now you're gonna have a bigger risk. What this means is like if I'm telling you to bet with 100 and I say 5 unit size every time, right? So you're betting 50 every time. You have a lot of chances. So you can have like 5 losses in a row and you'll be down $250. That's pretty bad. You're down $250. Some of you that might be like a whole 3 days of work. But the thing is, you got money to bounce back. And that's the important part because you have more money. You have $750 to work with. Even if you lose 10 games in a row. Now, if you guys don't understand, winning in like these bets, especially these like line bets, which team's gonna win, it's almost a coin flip. If you just blindly pick, at least one of them is gonna win. There is almost no way you're gonna lose 10 in a row. If you do lose 10 in a row, it's almost like flipping a coin flip 10 times wrong. It's more likely it's gonna be something like a 50-50. We're trying to aim for a 60-40 here, or a 70-30. That's what we're trying to do by analyzing these. Not every single game is going to be a guaranteed win. This betting group, I am 100% sure guaranteeing you that is not a 100% win rate. Nothing in the world is ever 100%. So if you're going into this thinking you're going to win every single game, that is not right. Over time, you're going to get a higher win rate. Just like in Dota, right? You get a higher win rate than 50%. Eventually, you're going to go up in money. Right? So the bankroll is there to help you tank all these losses. And the more guaranteed to win, the more unit size I will ask you guys to bank. Also, I'll be making a spreadsheet video to teach you guys how to track your bets. So over time, you can see if your money is going up and down. Also, because you're paying me a $30 fee, so you're going to want to make more than $30 a month. Which is also why I suggest you betting with 1,000. Or else you're going to have to be betting with 100, but going very big unit sizes. So let's say you're betting with 100 and I say to bet like 3 unit sizes. You're betting $30 essentially. Now, if you lose 3 in a row, you're done. You're cleaned. So maybe you want to bet something like 15. So you're going to lose 6 in a row and you're done. It is risky. It is risky. The more money you bet with, that's like percent of you could have a bad lose streak of like 3-4 in a row. And you're cleaned and you have to restart. And that's really bad. You don't want to do that. So I suggest you betting with lower unit sizes but have a higher bankroll to start with. Now, you're going to have to make more than $30 a month. So every day, on average, you got to make more than $1 a day. Right? Because you're basically paying $1 a day for 30 days. You know, I think $1 a day is very manageable if you use my betting system. I'm actually quite confident you can make at least $1 a day. Probably like somewhere like $2 to $3 a day. For sure, like even if you're betting with 100, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's basically it. Just make sure you follow this rule. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments below, or just ask me on Discord, or post it in the questions channel on Discord. Because if you don't follow this rule, what's gonna end up happening is that you're gonna lose all your fucking money and you're gonna start being like, oh, what the fuck is going on? I'm scamming you. But no, guys, follow this rule so you don't break your bankroll. And one very important note is do not go to the casino section. Do not do anything stupid. Don't bet stupidly on your own, okay? This is another big mistake. One is making sure you stick to this bankroll rule I just taught you, and not gambling your money. Because once you start playing casino games and you start like betting by yourself randomly, unless if you want to take the risk, you're gonna lose your money. You're gonna lose all your money, and you're gonna have a gambling addiction. I don't want to make this a gambling addiction. I don't want to create more degenerate gamblers. I want to create smart gamblers that's gonna work with me, and we can make profit in the long run, right? This is how it's gonna work. So if you guys strictly stick to this rule, everything's gonna be just fine. Trust me, everything's gonna be okay. You are not gonna lose your bankroll. The worst thing that can happen is you're gonna probably go somewhere even, because you're gonna have like a 50-50. You might lose like $50 here, and you're gonna lose like your initial fee of $30. If you try it for a month, you don't make any profit, by all means you can quit the system and never use it again. But worst thing that can happen is you lose $30. With the bankroll though, is that you're not gonna lose all your bankroll if you stick with this rule. It's literally impossible to lose all your money, because you're gonna literally have to lose like 20 games to like 50 games in a row. If you're betting 1%, you literally have to lose 100 games in a row to lose all your money. What are the chances you're gonna lose 100 fucking bets in a 50-50 chance? It's fucking impossible. There you go. But anyways, make sure you stay disciplined. The best way to do it is actually just to never even check this website. Don't look at anything. I'll be posting the bets probably somewhere around the same time every day, probably like 12 a.m 12 p.m, sometime like that. And you go on, I check it, you log in the site, you place your bet, you make sure it's the right bet, by the way, make sure it's the right one. I'll be taking screenshots and everything, so I'll like take the screenshots, like, oh yeah, it's this one exactly. I'll click into it too, so I'll make sure you guys know. And once you check it, whatever, and then you place your bet, and then just go off. Don't even fucking look at anything else, or else it's gonna fuck it up for you. At the end of the month, you're gonna see your money that you invested with go up. So let's say you put 1K in here. Now, of course, the more bankroll you have, the more money you're gonna make. So if you have $5,000, let's say you're going up. I usually like to count it like this. I usually count it like unit sizes. So like, let's say if you go up like 5 units, for example, at the end of the month, 5 units. If you have $1,000, that's essentially $50 that you went up by, right? Now you gotta subtract the 30. You gotta subtract the $30. 5 units is pretty low, because we're betting every day. I'm aiming for somewhere around like a 10 unit win per month, 10 to 12 unit win. That was me previously betting by myself. So you're probably gonna go, let's just say 10, right? Lower estimate. You're gonna win $100 with the 1K. My bad. $100. Now 100 minus 30 is gonna give you $70. So essentially you're gonna make $70 profit by clicking some buttons every day. It will take you like less than a minute, because the $30 is the fee. Now if you have something like 5,000, you're gonna go up like 10 units. That's 500. Yes, that's actually $500. That's $500, guys. $500 minus that, you got $470. You got $470 profit. That's groceries. That's fucking drinking money. That's like whatever money you want to do. Buy some new Dota sets if you want, right? And by the way, you're paying me the same amount regardless of how much you use. It's just how much money you have to spare with. And make sure, if you have a lot of money in there, do not turn to gambling. Do not become a degenerate gambler. Anyways, this video is supposed to be very informative. Hope you guys actually learned something. Stick by the rules and enjoy, and we can make some profit, boys. Have a very nice day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.